Hey y'all, it's Lindsay and welcome back to Our Faces. I decided to film at the exact moment my neighbors decided to mow their lawn. I think I waited long enough that they're done, but if you hear a edger or a mower sound, that's because that's what it is. Yes, I'm still wearing my 2009 tour shirt that I got in 7th grade because yes, I still fit into an adult small. Because yes, I'm still the same size I was in 7th grade. So today I wanted to film a very interesting video for you guys. I think a lot of people did this, but you might have gone to Microsoft Word or written in like a diary a note to your favorite celebrities, right? You're like, oh, one day I'm gonna meet my favorite person, whether it's like a member of One Direction, it's a Jonas brother, it's like Justin Bieber, it's Demi Lovato, whoever it is. And you write out what you want to say to them because you're like, when I meet them, I'm not going to have time to like tell them everything, so I'm going to like hand them my letter. And then they're going to go back to their bus, back to their plane, back to their car, read it. Yeah, that probably doesn't work, but it's worth a try. So in 2009, at this tour, when I saw the Jonas Brothers, I made a poster. It looked awful. I will try and insert a picture I have, if I can. On the front, it looked like a crossword puzzle with Jonas, and then it said like Nick, Joe, Kevin, Frankie, because you can't forget Frankie. And then on the other side it said happy birthday Joseph Adam Jonas in the worst handwriting, because I saw them for the first time on his birthday and we got to sing to him. But they had a table that said you can't bring your posters in, put them on this table and we'll bring them back to their tour bus. So I was like, oh great, you know, they'll get my posters. So my mom pulls a pen out her purse, because I forgot to bring a Sharpie to sign the tour bus, because I'm an idiot. Because of that day, I now carry a Sharpie in my purse. My mom pulls out her pen, she writes my name, my age, and my address, thinking when they get the poster in their tour bus, they'll see it, and maybe they'll send me an autograph. Right? We're optimistic here. We're standing in front of the bus, myself and my parents and I, taking various pictures. I took a picture of them, she took a picture of me, in front of like the tour bus. And as we're getting ready to walk into the venue, we see like venue security pick up all of the posters on that table. Now mine, I took like paint markers and did it in 10 minutes. Some of these girls and guys spent hours like collaging things, and a few people were able to bring their signs in if they had sound check. Everybody else, they threw them away, right? So we're standing out there watching as they take the fans' posters and immediately throw them straight into the dumpster. So needless to say, I didn't get an autograph in the mail. But because of that, I was inspired to like write how I felt if I ever did actually meet them. Instead of just handing them my address for an autograph, you know, I could write down how I felt. So in 2013, the Jonas Brothers were here to film a music video, the Pom Pom music video, and I was determined to meet them. So I sat down and I typed out my 3 letters. Similar base information about how I got into them to Nick, Joe, and Kevin, but special details for each of them. Of course, couldn't give them the same generic letter because they might compare notes. I have not read those notes since. I went to see them August 3rd, 2013. I drove to Tampa. I wrote in that initial letter something about like, Kevin and Danny, like good luck when you have your first baby, something like that. Well, by the time between April and August, Kevin and Danny announced they were pregnant. So I had to revise his letter. So while I was revising his letter, I revised all of them. And I have not read any of the letters since. So today I'm going to be reading you my cringy letters to the Jonas Brothers. We'll start with Nick, then Joe, then Kevin. If information is similar, I might not read all of it, but so I'm prepared for this to be hilariously terrible. And if for some reason the Jonases are watching this, I am sorry for what you are about to hear. To Nicholas Jonas, please read soon. Normal people soon. Because, you know, the whole joke about the Jonas Brothers soon, right. Now 2013 in its entirety is a sore subject for them. Watch the documentary. Presents inside, smiley face, from New Orleans. Let's look at the presents first, because Nick likes superheroes. A Spider-Man pencil. Now, what was Nick Jonas in his 20s going to do with a Spider-Man pencil? I don't know, but 17-year-old Lindsay really thought he needed it. A pair of Malaga beads, blue. because blue is Nick's favorite color. He definitely needed these. You can see these were thick. 4 full pages. I was going to start with something like, Dear Nicholas, but I decided to start by saying thank you. You will never understand how much I owe my entire life to you. I know, you've heard this a billion times from so many girls, but I honestly mean it with every fiber of my being. Since I know pretty much everything about your story and it inspired me, I thought I might share a bit of my story with you in hopes that maybe you'll get a little inspired while reading this. Before I start, I would like to apologize for this being typed, but my handwriting is not that fantastic, and I wanted to make sure you can read everything. My name is Lindsay. I'm going to edit out the parts where I literally gave, like, exact medical information and address. Like, I signed and wrote my address on there. You know, because they're going to send me an autograph. So, exact locations and things, I will omit. But my name is Lindsay. I was born on February 13th, 1996 in Louisiana. Little did my family know that when I turned 4, they would find out I had Klippel-Feil syndrome. This is a rare condition which affects 1 in 100 people. 1 in 42,000 births. Many people in the world have KFS and they do not even know it. My parents took me to a pediatrician because when I started walking, I walked in an odd way. I am going to skip through this special neck video. If you want to know what this actually says, you can go watch the video on my channel about it, but I will just read a summary. Something peculiar with my walking. Through x-rays and MRIs, my diagnosis was confirmed. I had Klippel-Feil syndrome. Anomalies of the cervical spine is named after the 2 physicians who discovered it. Throughout my life, I had to be extremely careful of what I do because the slightest thing could injure me severely. Growing up, I could never play PE, jump on the trampoline, carry a book bag on my back, play sports, or do any other normal kid stuff. I would be a lot less cautious. Without the help of my doctor and teachers, I would be a lot less cautious of actions that could harm me. I have learned that focusing on the positive things in life is the best thing you can do. This is where you and your brothers come into play. Whenever I have a day where I'm feeling down on myself, I listen to your music and it instantly lifts my spirits. I could just sit around and dwell on my problems, but instead I make the best of a bad situation. I mean, sure, it is hard to watch people lead perfectly normal lives. Knowing that I will never be normal, I am okay with that. My normal is just a little special. Living with Klippel-Feil is not always easy, but if I could go back to when it was developing and change my prognosis, I'm not sure that I would. It's definitely not easy living with something like this, because you see your friends doing things you'll never be able to. I've been bullied for it. My entire freshman year and around 3/4 of my sophomore year were almost completely ruined due to it. It wasn't the bullying that bothered me. It was that one of them said about me under her breath, in choir class, when this was predominantly occurring, we have special chairs that help with your singing and we have to pick them up every day after class. The run-ons in this are crazy. They were heavy, so one day my mom sent a note asking if someone would do it for me. Well, needless to say, they hated having to that for me, and one day I heard, it's really not right to use a disability to your advantage. I looked at her and thought, that is the last thing I will ever do, and I can't believe you would think that of me. I am proud to say that I stuck through it and am now currently about to start my 4th year of choir class, and since they have graduated, I'm loving it. I would not have survived bullying if it was not for your music, especially one song, ... a little bit longer. It was June of 2010 and I was going to my neck doctor for my routine yearly checkup. He does this test where he takes his nail or pen or something and scrapes up the nerve in your feet. The right foot acted normal, but the left foot did the thing that is an indicator something has gone wrong in my neck. He sent me to have MRIs to discover something had indeed slipped. I remember leaving the doctor's office that afternoon completely scared out of my mind. I came home that day, popped my little bit longer CD in, and went straight to track 12. I listened to it and cried for about 2 hours. That was definitely a bit of an exaggeration, but okay. I felt like that song was written exactly about my life. I have yet to find a song that better describes my life and my feelings in that exact moment than ALBL. During this 2-week process, my grandmother, who was like a best friend to me, passed away, as if I wasn't under enough stress already. When the 2 weeks were up, I had one of the happiest days of my life. My doctor told me everything was fine. It was a false alarm, and I just have really ticklish feet. Go figure. Throughout my entire medical journey, I can't remember not having those days. where you just feel like the entire world is against you and no one else will understand how you feel. When I heard a little bit longer for the first time, I finally realized that I'm not alone, and someone else understands exactly how I feel. That someone else is you. I saw you and your brothers in concert on 8/15/09, where I got this shirt. It was one of the greatest days of my entire human existence. Everything about it made me even more in love with you. But when I heard your ALBL speech in person, I was in awe. You said thank you so many times that night, and I just wanted to run down the steps and shout, "No, thank you! I owe my life to you and your brothers, and I will never be able to thank you enough to show you what you all mean to me." When you and your brothers canceled the October 6th concert for New Orleans on the 2010 tour, I was pretty bummed out. My dad called you guys the Jonas brothers for over a year. Actually, he still does it sometimes. Literally, to this day, 10 years later, still calls them Jonas brothers, but like lovingly. He was joking, of course. It's okay though. I understand that you did it to be in Les Mis, and now I have a recorded version of you as Marius, so I was kind of a loose win situation. And then, I don't know if you can see, a little smiley face. I hope that you don't forget us on your next tour, because you didn't go there on this tour, and I traveled to Tampa just to see you. Thanks again for filming the pom-poms video here, and I'm glad you enjoyed all the beignets. When we were in the Super Bowl, you tweeted something like, "Go Saints!" with a bunch of exclamation points. I love that you and your brothers are very open about your faith and what you believe. It's hard to find a band that shares the same beliefs as you that aren't a Christian genre. I really admire you for not being afraid to admit that. Also, back in the day when you guys wore purity rings, I was really proud that you were wearing them. Once again, another thing we had in common. Whoop! I have never really worn a ring, but I do believe in waiting till marriage. Whether or not you wear them anymore doesn't really matter to me. The other day you tweeted, "Music, family, faith," and I was like, that's me in a tweet. I love and admire that you and your brothers are proud to be Christians, even if it goes against popular opinion sometimes. I sometimes feel out of the loop because I'm 17, and I never had a boyfriend or been kissed, but I guess I just had to wait till God decides it's time for me to meet that person. I was in 2 of my school's theater productions thanks to you. I've always been really nervous in front of people, but I realized I can't spend my life being afraid. Funny story, one day my mom asked me, if you could only meet one of the Jonas brothers, who would you choose? I told her I couldn't choose. She said if you had to. So I said Nick. She asked me why, and I told her because we both have similar medical stories. She looked at me and said, "What? Why? You don't have diabetes." And I said, "Yep." I simply told her, "I know that, Mom. I meant we both have medical conditions for life." Then I just walked away shaking my head. Whilst I was out celebrating my birthday, Who I Am came on the radio in the restaurant, and I had the biggest grin on my face. You solo album is amazing, and I love the vibe it has. I can definitely tell where you drew your influences from. I just really relate to everything you have put out musically, and once again, I say thank you. I listen to other bands, but none of them have really stuck with me for long. Flash forward to now, We the Kings are like some of my favorite people. I've been a Jonas fan for 6.5 years, and I'm so proud to say that. Through every up and down of my life, you have been there, and once again, I say thank you. I know it's hard for your family that your grandfather has cancer. This is another thing we unfortunately have in common. Your grandfather is named Jerry, and he is also your godfather, right? Well, my godfather was named Jerry too, and he also had cancer. He had a very rare cancer called Paget's disease. He unfortunately passed away on May 6, 2008. On August 12, 2008, you released A Little Bit Longer, and I 100% believe that is one of the main reasons I love it so much. It came at a time when I needed it most, and it helped me through so much. It's not easy dealing with a loved one with cancer or any illness, but you have to make the most of every day and never be afraid to tell them you love them, because it could be your last chance to. I am going to stop rambling and end on this. I know you get so many letters and meet so many fans every day, but I would like to hope I'm one of the few that actually sticks with you. Thank you. You are one of the biggest influences and inspirations in my life, and I would not be who I am, pun intended, today without you and your brothers in my life. I love that you entered my life. I love that you can sing Introducing Me at lightning speed, and I love that you're so passionate and put your whole heart into everything you do. I love that you play softball with the Road Dogs and the Wickets. My cousin was the pitcher for blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah, to have her number retired. I grew up around softball even though I could never play it. Another smiley face. So I couldn't wait to go to a Road Dogs game someday. I can't wait for your new music, and I wish you great success in all your future career paths. Thank you if you actually read this letter. I love you, and I want you to know that no matter how bad of a day you're having, just smile and know I'm always here for you. Also, I would like to thank you for the song Conspiracy Theory. In my English class, we had to write papers on conspiracy theories, and I chose for our English final exam essays, we had to use a protest song in relation to conspiracy theories, and my teacher loved the song lyrics when I turned them in with my exam. Unfortunately, I don't know what I got on it because it was the end of the year, but I did pass the semester with an A. Enjoy the Mardi Gras beads, and don't drop your pencil. Love, Lindsay. Wait. Love, Lindsay. I signed my whole name, so I'm not going to show it. That is 3.5 full pages. I said, don't drop your pencil. This is the contents of my cringy but emotional letter to Nick Jonas. I believe that Nick's and Joe's and Kevin's, the beginning parts, are going to be quite similar. I'm not, like, entirely sure. Okay, so again, presents inside from New Orleans. To Joseph Jonas, please read soon. Normal people soon. Now notice, that one's purple. This one's green, and that one's orange with purple. So I went for Mardi Gras colors. Not orange, but you know. On the inside, Joe has purple beads, just average purple, because I think his favorite color is purple. And Joe has, I have about like 10 of these just at my house from one time I got a box of Jonas Valentines, but I didn't actually want to give them to my class, so I gave like the paper cards to my family members who didn't need pencils, so I kept the pencils. This is a pencil with their faces on it. I have a bunch of these still. I took them to college. I used them. The eraser is awful, but Joe got a pencil with his face on it. Remember, don't drop your pencil. From Nick's letter. Okay, so a lot of this is probably going to be somewhat similar. So if anything is too repetitive, I will skip it and you can go to the video 4. So I think a lot of this is very similar. So if any, I'm going to kind of skim through and look for things that are different. I was going to start with something like, Dear Joseph, but I decided to start by saying thank you. You will never understand how much I owe my entire life to you. I know, you've heard this a billion times from so many girls, but I honestly mean it with every fiber of my being. I mean, how much do you mean it? Because you just said the exact same words to Nick, and I know for a fact you said those exact same words to Kevin. Okay, so the same beginning part, then I go on and I share the same story about my special neck. Again, I will link to that video if you'd like to see that. And then I talk about bullying. Throughout my entire medical journey, I can't remember not having those days where you just feel like the entire world is against you and that no one else will ever understand how you feel. Your music is what kept me going and kept me smiling on days when all I wanted to do was cry. Alright, and here's me yelling about them not coming here and telling them that my dad calls them Jonas Brothers. And then I say, because it was Joe's idea to film the Pom Poms music video here, thank you again for filming the Pom Poms music video here. And by the way, great video concept. Funny story, I unfortunately couldn't get your solo album until a few weeks after the release date, but I had of course listened to all the songs on the album via the internet and was in love. My dad took me to Target and I bought yours and Demi Lovato's new albums. Since I had already heard yours, we played the Demi one on the ride home. When I got home, I started listening to your album and my dad walked in on the song Fast Life. started dancing and said, "Why didn't you play the one with the cool beats in the car?" He kept dancing, and needless to say, he's a fan. Just don't ask him to sing you Poison Ivy or Paranoid, ... Yikes. Ha 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 ha. I think he sings them wrong on purpose, but still. For my 13th birthday, I got a poster of you and your brothers on it, and you were wearing a pair of white pants. When my older sister saw it, she said those are really tight, and now we have an inside joke where we say, "Tawa pants," and we say it like this weird Japanese accent. I don't really know why we say it like that, but we do. So just thought you would like to know that your pants are one of the reasons why I think my older sister, who turned 25 on the 12th of February, has a secret crush on you. P. Newsflash, she does not, and never had a secret crush on Joe Jonas. Although my crush on him was definitely not a secret. Your solo album is amazing, and I love the vibe it has. I can definitely tell where you drew your influences from. I am not a big fan of rap music, but I was quite excited to see you had a Justin Love remix featuring Lil Wayne, because he's from New Orleans too. I just relate to everything you have put out musically. I listen to other bands, but none of them have really stuck with me for long. It's the same bullet points for all three. But then I edited in little special things about each of them. So if they compared letters, there'd be some differences. Okay. Yeah, enjoy the Molly Rub beads and don't drop your pencil. So again, I was going to split this up into 3 parts, but I think I will just put it like all into one, and Nick's will be the one that I read in total. To Kevin Jonas, Presents Inside from New Orleans. Please read soon. Normal people soon. Now Kevin has 2 pairs of beads. A purple and a pink. You know why? Because Kevin is married. So Kevin needs a pair of beads and Danielle needs a separate pair of beads. And now Kevin's pencil, another one I got from a friend's Valentine in high school. Kevin's pencil was Cars. And why? Because I think my options were a Cars pencil or a Disney Princess pencil. And I thought that Kevin, them being the Disney guys they are, would like Cars. Because Kevin likes cars. Like I said, if anything's the same, I will refer to the Nick letter and you can go back in the video if you'd like to read the whole thing. This one again, yep, just as long. Now, I was going to start this with something like, "Dear Kevin," but I decided to start by saying thank you. You will never understand how much I owe my entire life to you. I know, you've heard this a billion times from so many girls, but I honestly mean it with every fiber of my being. Because I know pretty much everything about your story, and it inspired me. I thought I might share a bit of my story with you in hopes that maybe you'll get a little inspired while reading this. Before I start, I would like to apologize for this being typed, but my handwriting is not that fantastic, and I wanted to make sure you can read everything. Please tell Danielle and Baby Jonas with 3 exclamation points in parentheses I said hello, and maybe even let her read this. Danielle or the baby? Because babies can't read. Alright, the same thing about my special neck. Again, that video will be linked if you want the full scope. I kind of glassed over this in Nick's letter. But yeah, I have a neck condition. Funny story. I have the same birthday as your dad and mother-in-law. When I was younger, I was always like, no one cool has the same birthday as me besides my cousin. Now I know 2 awesome people that I get to share my day with. Also, Married to Jonas is epic. You're like the Jersey non-redneck version of the show Duck Dynasty. In the beginning of the year, I watched MTJ and some other things religiously, so I was certain I was going to fail my first semester of school. Luckily, I didn't, and I passed with flying colors. Ha ha ha. This show is great, and I hope for many, many, many more seasons. You are so lucky to have found Danielle, and I couldn't be more thrilled that you two were blessed with a baby. I wish you and Danielle luck if you ever have more children. I hope that God decides to bless you with them when you are both ready. I'm praying that everything is successful with the birth of baby Jonas, and I can't wait to hear all the songs written about him or her. Adore the Mardi Gras beads and don't drop your pencil. P.S. There is also a pair of Mardi Gras beads for Danny. And again, I love my signature and my home address. Now, as much as I can cringe and laugh at these letters, when I read it, it really takes me back to like that time in my life when the Jonas Brothers were my life. It's so insanely crazy to me that it is 2019 and like not only do we have a new Jonas Brothers album, like real talk here, they canceled in 2010, and when I saw them in 2013, I had to drive to Tampa. My parents surprised me with tickets. We drove to Tampa, and the day that the Jonas Brothers broke up, I was in the car looking on my phone and something popped up, and I read a link that the Jonas Brothers had canceled their tour and they were probably breaking up. And at the same time, when I started crying, my mom was on the phone with my older sister, and she was crying about some kind of drama with a friend. And my mom looked at me and she said, "Oh no, not you too." I can remember exactly where I was the moment when that happened and how like devastated I felt, because they were the three of the most important people in my life. Through bullying and medical drama and family members dying, I turned to their music and I turned to them. So the Jonas Brothers being back together and happily back together, I just like, I love it, and I get to see them again in November. And I don't have to travel to another state while I'm trying to have my first job post-graduation and make money. I couldn't really travel, and I was so sad I was gonna miss the tour. And then you added New Orleans, so thank you three for everything as you in those cringy letters. If you do watch this video, as cringy as they are, they contain a lot of important information that I wanted you to know. So to summarize, you have really been there with me through all the ups and all the downs of my life, and I'm so happy and blessed to know you and support you and love your music and have friends because of you, and I just couldn't be more proud to support three brothers from New Jersey who make music. Welcome back. I'm so happy you're back together, and that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're hungry for videos whenever I actually post. I'm trying to get my first post-graduation job right now, so like if you're a restaurant and you're hiring, let me know. So videos will be whenever no one's home and I can actually film. If there's anything you'd like to see, leave it in a comment. I'll turn it into a video or a blog post. That's still going on. Check that down below. And yeah, I love you all. I love the Jonas Brothers. Go stream Happiness Begins and buy it and watch Chasing Happiness on Amazon. I love you all. Stay saucy, and let's ride the roller coaster of my YouTube channel together. Stay saucy. Bye. Pay attention to this clip. Notice this clip when you're editing.